Yeah, we fought 4 times, right? And then always a tough opponent. So we used to fight against each other in the middleweight class. Like I'm back in 2001, I think. I started fighting middle. Even being a lighter guy, I got a lot more rice and beans, and then got a little heavier, and started fighting middle with him. So always a guy, very explosive, with some really cool passes and sweeps, and always a guy I was fighting with, like a very attentive, because he can surprise with some sneaky takedowns or some strong passes. But for some reason I always feel very comfortable fighting with him, because sometimes I'm able to go through him. I'm able to like fight with him and really understand what he's thinking, because we have a very similar game. Definitely like a tough opponent. Our fight is always a very, very even fight. 2-0, 4-2, 4-0, you know what I mean? 2-2 and one advantage, you know what I mean? Like never was a fight where someone really like 10-0 and submit. So it's definitely like a very, very tough opponent. And I'm curious. He's away for a little bit, and I'm happy to see him back. Heard about his training a lot, and we're gonna try to put a good show together. I wanna do my best, you know what I mean? And definitely, if I have a chance and a room, to putting my hands on the right spot and then looking for the submission, I'll be trying. I'm not gonna lie in front of the cameras, you know what I mean? But I know he's gonna try fight very hard to avoid this happening.
Vai fazer 2 posições daqui. A primeira vai ser o seguinte: o Vini tá com os 2 joelhos no chão, tá?
Bom, não me lembro muito bem não, mas a primeira luta eu tomei uma saravada ele passou minha guarda 2 vezes, me raspou, passou minha guarda 2 vezes, aí eu raspei ele.
Mexe com do chão.
Mas em 2001, que foi a última vez que nós lutamos, foi mais parelho, né? Eu já tava mais um tempo já na faixa preta, né? Tinha sido campeão mundial na faixa em 2000. E 2001 eu fiz a final com ele, que foi 2-2, a luta foi muito dura. Eu raspei ele e depois, assim que eu raspei ele, ele me raspou de novo, né? Se eu garantisse aqueles 2 pontos, acho que eu poderia ser campeão.
Esticando pra cima, agora bate na perna.
Mas foi uma luta muito dura ali, de igual para igual, que ele me ganhou nas vantagens, né? Me ganhou de uma vantagem, né? 2 vantagens, eu acho, não me lembro. Mas foi uma luta muito dura. E foi a última vez que nós se enfrentamos, em 2001. Bom, eu vou entrar como eu entro para todas as lutas, né? Entrar para ganhar, entrar para vencer, né? Se tiver algum obstáculo no meio desse percurso, eu vou fazer o máximo, entendeu? Para ganhar, para destruir esse obstáculo. E eu acho que vai ser uma luta dura, uma luta que todo mundo quer ver, né? 2 caras muito bons, muito técnicos, né? E eu vou com tudo.
I think in my match with Polaris is probably one of the best I've ever competed in a tournament, just like in terms of how I felt and in terms of, when I look back at the match and I see what I did, I really felt as though there wasn't as much doubts in my head, and I just kind of I competed very much the way that I train, which doesn't happen to me very often. A lot of times I'm very nervous and a little apprehensive at the beginning of matches and things like that, and I felt as though things were very good in that match from the beginning and got even better towards the end, and I was very happy with my performance. Obviously I wanted to submit him, but in terms of if you said give me a match that's the best it could possibly be without submitting the guy, I mean, I think that's about as close as I'm going to get to that. So I was pretty excited about that. It was pretty fun. Yeah, so my thoughts on Gilbert Burns or Dorino and going into competition against him. I mean, he placed third, I believe, in ADCC, the previous one, and he's definitely a very game Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. He's been competing for quite some time, and now he's transitioned into MMA. So it should make for an interesting fight. I compete and train against a lot of MMA fighters as well, and it's a little bit of a different style. He came from a jiu-jitsu background, but I assume he'll incorporate some of the grappling tendencies of some of these mixed martial artists. So I think that's going to help me a lot in this match. I do think he's going to try his best to use his strength and size advantage in this match, but we've seen how that worked out for some of my previous opponents, so we'll see how things go. And I imagine I get thrown around for a couple minutes like a rag doll, and then find a way to submit the guy.
Yeah. And as soon as I get back, still living against for words no gi, so I think we gotta pay the price. So I love to be here with my family, my kids, my wife, but I want to compete, I want to get better, I want to improve. And we know the athlete, all the professional athletes, fighter, we have a short time to use like our body, like the time that we have. So I want to use, I know I'm still young, but I want to compete the most as I can. Looking forward to next year to do a lot of more jiu-jitsu tournament, keep fighting MMA, keep improving, teaching. So that's the way I choose and the way I love to live. I think what keep drives me is the challenge, is the preparation. I like a lot of guys said, so it's not the will to win that matters. It's the will the will to prepare. So I still like to prepare, to get ready, to train every day, even when I'm tired, I still like to train. I cannot live without training. So until I feel that, I'm still gonna be competing for sure, be pushing more than ever, training hard, competing. But I think that's what driving me. I like to prepare myself. I like to train hard, and I like to compete.